Do you have continuity or association plan for your business?
Has anyone shared the concept of sustainability with you?
What about the need to protect the rights of minority shareholders?
What are those ingredients germane to having effective meetings?
For these and many more, tune into Corporate Governance Platform every Thursday on MITV, your darling station, on DSTV 255 and UHF 43 at 4:30 p.m.
Corporate Governance Platform is your best medium for informative and educative strategies for the practice of the corporate governance profession.
Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators of Nigeria, ICSAN, the hub of governance professionals.
Good evening and thanks for joining Corporate Governance Platform. The program is proudly brought to you by the Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators of Nigeria, ICSAN, the hub of governance professionals, and is coming to you from MITV, Lagos. I am Dr. Tunde Odeyemi, and today on the show, due to popular demand, we'll be bringing you the interview that we had with Mrs. Benedicta Sadare, FCIS, on the roles and relevance of non-executive directors in organization. Please sit back, relax, and enjoy it. I'll be right back. Mrs. Sadare is a charter secretary, administrator with over 28 years experience and knowledge spread across various businesses and industries, which are communication, consumer market, energy and natural resources, construction, export, import, financial, mortgage banking services industries, to mention a few. She is a fellow, executive committee and governing council member of ICSAN, and she is the immediate past chairman of the public practice committee of the institute, an active member of the institute, both at the chapter and at the national levels. Mrs. Sadare presently runs the first indigenous firm of charter secretaries and administrators company in Nigeria, which is now affiliated to any firm of auditors or legal practitioners named S.E. Nomoja & Co. The firm is now 46 years in existence. This is a firm that she took over from her father, a renowned and astute charter secretary of blessed memory. She tackles both major and minor assignments with integrity and forthrightness, accountability, transparency, and dexterity. Mr. Sadare is a goal-getter, a result-oriented, people-oriented, and passionate person who thrives for excellence on all forms. A turnaround specialist, a team player, a woman of sterling qualities with impeccable character who handles and accomplishes any given assignment with excellent results. Mr. Sadare, we are glad to have you on Corporate Governance Platform.
Thank you very much for having me. I wonder how you got all of these accolades about me.
Do they represent who you are?
Well, if you say so, you have read it out.
Okay.
Thank you very much for having me.
We are glad to have you on Corporate Governance Platform.
Thank you.
And we want to discuss a very important topic today.
Yes.
It's on the role and relevance of the non-executive. We are not talking about the non-executive directors to corporate success. What do they bring into the organization? How do they contribute to the success of the organization? And I'd like to also invite our viewers to be part of today's program by asking questions or making comments via text message only. You can send your text message to 080-2323-1287. I take the number again, 080-2323-1287. Please only text message. And when you send the text message, please kindly put your name on it. Either questions or comments. You have the number on the screen of your television set. Let's kickstart this conversation by asking, who are the non-executive directors and what are their roles in an organization?
Non-executive directors are board members that are not on the managerial level. They are not part of the executive team of a company, and so they don't do the day-to-day running around of the company just like the executive directors, those that are in-house. You can also call them outside directors or independent directors, so they come in like what the code says. the principle 6 of the code says that they are
You mean
supposed
the national-
the national code of corporate
governance, okay.
Principle 6, that's where the issue of
that treated the non-executive
directors says that the non-executive directors brings to bear their knowledge of their expertise in strategy, their independence, especially on strategic issues for the company. So they bring to bear their knowledge, expertise, and independent knowledge about judgment, about or to bear on the board of that company. So that's what they
Okay, they bring in their expertise and their knowledge into the company.
They bring it.
Of what value is this knowledge? What is the value added to the organization? Or let me ask it in another way. What are the benefits of having these non-executive directors in organization?
Wow. To have these non-executive directors in an organization, there are a lot of benefits.
Okay.
Because they are looking at the organization. They are coming from outside. Okay. They are looking at the organization from an independent side. So they have this, they are very objective about it. So they look at it objectively and they look at it independently. And so they bring all of their expertise to bear. Because when they come in, the main job they're supposed to do is to look at to strategize for the company, not necessarily in the immediate, which the executive directors concentrate more, because they concentrate more on the nitty-gritty of the day-to-day running of the company. So they might not really have eyes for 5 years plan or 10 years plan. But when these non-executive directors come in, they don't look at the immediate alone.
Okay.
They also look at the future.
Okay.
They can come in with great eyes of, let's look at how we can strategize. They also come in with the wealth of experience. Okay, this is how we're doing it. This is how we're going to go about it. Like I have a very good case of a company that's over 40 years in Nigeria. We consult for them. They just got into non-executive directors. It's a wow thing for them.
Wow.
For the executive directors. They're so excited about it. They want to run with every bit of information that these non-executive directors are bringing to bear there, because they are telling them, and they also bring in their network. Because I noticed, I can contact this person on behalf of you, of this. This is how you should do it. Have you thought about branding in a better way? So they come in, they give advice, which normally they wouldn't have been able to see, as the executive director. But they are coming from outside and they are seeing it on a different view.
Okay, they observe from outside and they will be able to know better.
Because they have this wealth of experience. Okay. Wherever industry that they are coming from, they have wealth of experience, and so they have come to bring those things to bear on the board.
Okay. Now, you talked about the non-executive directors. You also talked about the independent non-executive directors.
Yeah.
What are the distinguishing factors between the non-executive directors and the independent non-executive directors?
The non-executive directors, they, according to the NCC code,
okay,
principle 6, it says that they bring their expertise to bear on the strategy of the company. But for the independent non-executive directors, they also bring in their expertise. But they also, what they do is that they are representing a certain group of people, mainly the shareholders. So what they do is that they don't have significant shareholding. Whatever they could have, like 0.0%, 0.001% of the paid off share capital of the company.
That's the independent
non-executive directors. Or when they are coming in, they shouldn't be any member or a close relation of any of the directors or the auditors, or close relations of the company. And there are so many other criteria that you have there for the independent non-executive directors. So they come with their independent mindset to bring to bear certain things that they have to put in place for that company.
Okay, since we have independent non-executive directors, why is it a governance practice that the non-executive director should not be involved in the day-to-day running of the organization? No, we understand the fact that the independent non-executive directors are also not to be involved in the day-to-day running of the organization. Yeah. Now, why is it that the non-executive directors cannot be involved? They could be given functions, strategic functions to undo for the organization, that the organization will benefit more.
The organization as a whole, we have two different kinds of functions.
Okay.
You have the operational and you have the strategic.
Okay.
The executive directors face mainly the operational. That is the day-to-day. But for the strategic session, for the strategic involvement, that is where the non-executive directors come in. Because it's strategic. They have to be strategic about it so that they can achieve success for that company. So that's why I say that the non-executive directors, they don't look at the immediate. But the executive directors, what they do is that, somebody is trying to, they have to go after one employer that has one issue, or so they have to settle one case or the other. But the non-executive director, they don't have all those things. They don't bother about all of those things. What they with the strategic section, how the company will grow. What are the things that will make the company grow? In the next 5 years, where will the company be? In the next 10 years, where will the company be? What are those risk factors that are involved if the company does not do this? They also look at all of those things, encompass everything. So they cannot be involved in the day-to-day activities.
Fantastic, fantastic. You actually mentioned that the job of an organization is divided into the operational and the strategic. And the non-executive directors are involved in the strategic.
Yes.
What are the likely consequences if a company does not have non-executive directors?
There are a lot. If, like I told you, that I have a very good case now. This company has been in existence for over 40 years. With the involvement of these non-executive directors, he just opened their minds. These executive directors, they've been to Lagos Business School and everything, It opened their mind to so many things that they have to put governance issues in place. Governance, we had to strategize having different committees. And of course, we've put all those non-executive in strategic positions of the committees, and they've started telling them what they should do. If they were not there, they would not have all of these ideas. They will not think about, 5 years. Of course, they have to coerce them to bring out a 5-year plan. And also what their products, who are your competitors? They might not have looked at it that way, that, these are competitors. They might likely, what are the things that what other measures will they put in place to mitigate against all those competition and all those risk factors? So a lot of things that they bring to bear into the company. And also networking. If they're not there, there's no way the company can benefit from those networking that they have. Because the executive directors will not have the direct contact with those that the non-executive directors have, those contacts that they have. But being a non-executive director in those companies, they could contact their own network to assist the company to greater heights.
Yeah, fantastic. We have a question here from Razak. Razak is saying that thank you to the guests in the house, that can a board be effective if the board has non-executive directors, independent directors, without executive directors apart from the MD?
Yes, the board can be effective, but if you have just one managing director, just one person. Is the only executive. You should have somebody that is overseeing him also, or assisting him. If it's a big organization, he cannot be the only one. He cannot be the only MD. You should also have executive director finance or something, or that will be in position to assist in various other functions. So the managing director or the CEO cannot manage all the affairs. If it's a big organization, I say, but if it's a small one, you could manage it like that way.
Okay.
Yes, because there are so many aspects of the company.
Then can a small organization also have non-executive directors and independent executive directors?
Yes.
Independent non-executive directors.
Yes.
Small organization.
Yes. If they want to grow, if they're thinking about strategizing for the future and sustainability, that is what the independent non-executive directors bring into play. Sustainability of the company is what they are after. They have to put all those things in place.
Okay.
It's not out of place to have them.
Okay, thank you. If you are just joining us, it's Corporate Governance Platform, and we are beaming live from MITV. And in today's episode, we are discussing the roles and relevance of non-executive directors to corporate success. And Mrs. Benedicta Sadare has been doing justice to that topic. You can also be part of the program by asking questions or sending comments. You can send your comment or question to 080-2323-1287. 080-2323-1287. Okay, let's go back to our conversation. You talked about independent non-executive director.
Yes.
Now, what is the concept of independence referred to? Apart from the fact that you said they should not have substantial shareholdings.
Yeah.
The concept of independence, how can they actually achieve it?
The concept of independence, it's even a corporate governance thing. That's word independence. It's a corporate governance issue also. Exonerating themselves from being affected or being influenced by stakeholders like the executive directors, management, employees, or employee union or whatever. So the independent non-executive should dissociate himself or herself from such influence, so that will not be influenced, because that is what they bring to bear on the board.
The independence. Now the question is, what are the likely things that can erode this independence?
When they now get involved in, when they don't, you can judge from this non-independence when there's a kind of board evaluation on a yearly basis, when you can see that the judgment, the independence should be by the character, by the character of that personality, of that director. So when the character of the director changes, or when the director changes in his judgment, then the independence is missing in that aspect.
When the director changes in its
character
its
judgment.
Okay.
And his judgment of fact. Because if his judgment changes and his character changes, he has been influenced, unduly influenced by either the executive directors or union, employees union.
Okay, still talking about independent non-executive directors. Now, what do you think is the rationale behind the provision that the board should annually ascertain, and confirm the continued independence of each independent non-executive director? How can they ascertain and confirm that?
Like I said, they can be ascertained and confirmed when there is this yearly board evaluation.
Okay.
Because the code expects that there should be a board
evaluation
on a yearly basis to know if that director is still has that element of independence. Of course, if it can be ascertained that he does not have that element of independence, he has to be removed as no more an independent director, because what the purpose of him coming on board is to be able to foster sustainability of that
organization. Okay, still talking about independent non-executive directors, I want to refer you to a provision of the National Code of Corporate Governance of 2018. The code provides that for a non-executive director to be independent, you should not render any professional or consultancy services or advisory services to the company or the group other than the capacity of a director.
Yes.
Why do we have this particular clause in that code?
Yes, that is for the non-executive directors.
Yes, and the independent non-executive director,
Yes.
that they should not offer any advisory, advisory services.
Once they are seen rendering advisory services,
consultancy services or professional
services, it has been eroded.
Okay.
Especially for the independent non-executive director. That's one of the criteria that it should not.
Even if they are the best
Even
in
if they are the
providing that
best,
service.
they are not supposed to. They are not supposed to. Because for the non-executive director, the job of that non-executive director is for strategic purpose, to move the company forward for strategic purpose. So you should concentrate on that. The non-executive should concentrate on that, the strategy, and not.
What if they want to do that, being a director, and they want to do it free for the organization?
No, they are not supposed to.
They are not supposed
They are not
to.
supposed to. It should be given out to an external body, totally different from them. And even the independent non-executive director, if he renders, or even if he's a family member of one of the auditors or consultant or anybody, or he has even been in the employment of the company before, he has earned some income,
from the
company before for some certain number of years, and it's coming back to come and become an independent, it's not even allowed.
Okay.
There's a lot of strict restriction on who an independent non-executive are. So once they are seen to be rendering that kind of those services,
so all these strict conditions are to ensure the independence of the directors.
Independence, just to ensure the independence of these directors, so that they can render the services they're there for.
Okay, let's come back to ICSAN,
Okay.
your institute.
Yes.
Does ICSAN have a database of prospective independent non-executive directors, or do you plan to have such?
That's a very good question. ICSAN is the hub of corporate governance.
Okay.
You can never beat that. We have seasoned members that have gone through thick and thin, they have been tested and tried. That we have a database of such wealth of people, of members that they can draw from, they can take from, and take them to different organizations. They can become independent non-executive directors or even non-executive directors, and they will thrive there. Why? Because they know the law, they know finance, they know so many things about the corporate existence of a company. So we have a database of that that have been truly scrutinized.
Okay, ICSAN has a database of prospective non-executive directors and independent non-executive directors. We have a question here. It said, hello, how do you recruit non-executive directors and independent directors? The sender has no name. How do you recruit non-executive directors and independent non-executive directors into the organization?
Into the organization. The organization writes that, okay, they want such people to the institute, to our institute, ICSAN. Then, of course, the people, it depends on the industry, because even as chartered secretaries, we are in different fields, in different industries. Some are very versatile in one, and some are good in the other. So, of course, they would handpick from the one that will benefit that organization. So we have to have the profile of the company, what they're doing and everything, the database of that particular company that wants a non-executive director or an independent
non-executive
before
directors.
we can now unpick a reputable, and bet you will not regret it.
Okay, it's not as if they will have to apply for it as we are applying for a job.
No, they will apply. They will apply to the institute that they want.
No, I'm talking to the organization now. It's not as if the independent or non-independent non-executive director will apply to the organization.
No.
I just want to clear that. Okay, as we wrap up this conversation, I want to ask you this final question.
Yeah.
What is your advice to companies and organizations out there on the issue of appointing non-executive directors and independent non-executive directors?
It should be a done deal for any organization, because bringing in the non-executive director or an INED would be a boost for that company.
Okay.
It will take the company to the next level, to be an asset. Like I told you about the live one that I have, is an asset for that company. They won't even want to let go of those two non-executive directors. It's cost efficient professionals. They are overseers over the total well-being of that organization.
Do you have continuity or association plan for you?
If you bring them in, they will oversee so many aspects that the executive directors are not seeing.
Okay, thank you very much. You are welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that interview with Mrs. Benedicta Sadare, FCIS, on the roles and relevance of non-executive directors to corporate success. We want to thank our viewers for watching, for taking time to be part of today's show. And we want to invite you to join us next week, same station, same time, in a brand new year 2023, for another interesting episode of Corporate Governance Platform. On behalf of my producer, Adeboye Galabiran, the technical director, David Adepoju, and the camera crew, I am Tunde Odeyemi. Bye for now.
Continuity or association plan for your business?
Has anyone shared the concept of sustainability with you?
What about the need to protect the rights of minority shareholders?
What are those ingredients germane to having effective meetings?
For these and many more, tune into Corporate Governance Platform every Thursday on MITV, your darling station, on DSTV 255 and UHF 43 at 4:30 p.m.
Corporate Governance Platform